Hi everybody, Dr. Fingal here. We're going to talk just a little bit about choosing a projection for our lower 48 map. So far we've kind of zoomed into very local areas like a city, in which case the default Web Mercator is actually a fine local projection. It's conformal, which means that shapes look relatively look correct. Angles between things are actually intact. Um, uh, but that doesn't work very well for the lower 48. It wouldn't be the worst. Probably something like a Robinson projection would look pretty terrible if we went ahead and did that. We can go into our map layer here, choose properties, and go to coordinate systems, and we can kind of do what we've done before and go into world and choose something like the Robinson projection. All right, so there's the Robinson projection applied to the lower 48 map. Makes for a great world map. Makes for a great world map, I think. But the United States is all sort of twisted around in kind of the wrong way. So we want to do something else. You're going to be sort of learning what the best of these are, but as you are learning, Google is your friend, and you can ask it questions like what projections are the best for the contiguous United States. If you look at some of these, we've got a couple of choices, and the two that are by far the most popular are the Lambert conformal conic and the Albers equal area conic. Both of these perfectly reasonable choices for the lower 48. You actually can choose other things, but let's focus on just those two since they're pretty good. You can find these on this list. Under the projection systems, you've got two major trees, geographic and projected. And on this list, you can see that we've got continental, we've got county systems, a bunch of other things here. None of this is quite right. What we actually want is continental indeed. So we will jump in here. We're looking at North America. And then we get a big list. Now, one of the problems with this list is that we get a number of similar things. If we search for something like Lambert conic, and again we open up and we'll just look for Lambert, and we look in projections, and we look in continental. You'll see that we actually have a number of them here. So there's a Canadian version of this. Two more Canadian versions. There's a North America Lambert conformal conic. This would be useful if we wanted to map the whole of North America. And then there's this one, USA contiguous Lambert conformal conic, and this is the one that we want. The nice thing about these conic projections is that they do a good job of minimizing distortion between the two lines, essentially, that go around the Earth. There's a top line somewhere up here, and there's a bottom line somewhere up here. And where those touch the Earth, the distortion in this map is minimized. So overall, this is a good representation of the lower 48. It's got this sort of, we're probably used to seeing this at this point, but it's got this sort of sweeping curve on the northern border of the U.S. Of course, this in reality is a straight line, but it's curved because of the curvature of the Earth effectively in this representation. If we wanted to look at the Albers, this would look almost exactly the same. So we can type in Albers. We can look under continental North America. We have a similar sort of a pattern, right? So we've got one for Alaska, one for Hawaii, a number of things in here. NAD 27 and 83 are two different ways to describe the coordinate system of the U.S. There's not a lot of difference visually between these two, but NAD83 is kind of our more recent one. There are a couple of sort of distractors here that you probably don't want. There's the North America Albers equal area conic. This is the USA contiguous Albers equal area conic. This is almost certainly the one you want. The USGS version of that is just ever so slightly modified. Both of these are perfectly good choices and would be what I would recommend. And you won't find very much difference here, except for that this one is actually equal area, which is useful for certain kinds of mapping, especially choropleth thematic mapping, which we'll look at down the road. So we can just hit apply and OK, and as this comes in here, you're not likely to sort of visually notice a lot of differences between this and the Lambert conformal conic. They're both very similar. One has the property of maintaining angles effectively, and the other has the property of maintaining area. But over a relatively small area, visual differences between the two are pretty mild. So both of these would be my suggestion as a bonus feature here. You can go in if you don't like conic projections, and some people don't. You like sort of these rectangular systems. There are some alternatives. You can look at Continental and look at this list. These look like mostly just the Lambert and the Albers. So let's look at the Miller, which is technically a world projection. But it looks something like this. It does a pretty reasonable job of sort of not stretching things out too much. It has this nice property of the northern border is a straight line, east to west, which it is. So this is another favorite choice of mine. And even something like the Web Mercator or other variants of Mercator look okay. So we can show those in contrast. The difference between Mercator and Miller is some exaggeration in area, some additional exaggeration of area, kind of in the north. That to my eye, having looked at a lot of these, just looks wrong. So going back and choosing Miller, if you wanted something that's a cylindrical projection, would be my advice. Just a little nicer, just not quite so distorted. All right, a couple of pieces of advice for you on projections for this particular map. Hope that helps. We'll catch you next time.